The NBA Conference Finals matchups are set following today's thrilling Game 7s. Meanwhile, the Houston Rockets have again gone on an early vacation after crashing out of the NBA Western Conference semifinals against the defending champion Golden State Warriors, which now brings the question, can the Houston Rockets and James Harden win an NBA title with their style of play? Very controversial question, and I expect controversial answers from our guests today, Eric Menk and Jett Manuel. That's a loaded question. The Houston Rockets, they're super talented. James Harden is an MVP winner. But how come they can't seem to break through and win in the West and get to the finals? Eric?
Well, I think they do have James Harden, and much of their system it's been criticized in the past, but a lot of their system is predicated on James Harden being the best basketball player on the court. And during the regular season, they've had success doing that. But in the playoffs, we all know it gets harder. The teams focus in a little more. And what happens when he's not the best player on the court, which, unfortunately, when they're playing the Golden State Warriors, there's 2 or 3 guys out there that are also high-caliber MVP-type players, and they also have a top-rated defense. And they're smart, so they're one of the greatest teams of all time. So when James Harden isn't the best player on the court, I kind of feel they over-leverage him a little bit and increase his usage rate a little more than they should. But it being so successful for them in the regular season, I could see why they do that. But I don't agree with that they can't win, but it hasn't happened up until this point, so it's easy to say that.
So why hasn't it happened for them, Jett?
Like what Eric was saying, I think it just puts too much pressure on one guy. I think it's just blowing up because you're comparing 2 different teams and styles of play. And every year we see that the Warriors have consistently been winning with their, motion, run style of play against James Harden, where you put the ball in one guy's hand and then just tell him that he has to, like they say, be the best version of himself on the court to win the game. It's just too much pressure. And I think it will win maybe a few games, but not consistently to the same level as the Warriors are winning.
So do you guys agree with what Kobe Bryant said? Kobe in an interview said that he's not a fan of the style of Houston's style of play, of Harden's style of play, of really dominating the offense, dominating possessions, having the basketball in his hands for a long time in their sets. And he said that that's not built for winning championships. What do you think, Eric?
Well, I don't think it's built for beating the Golden State Warriors. I think that
which is weird because Houston, their lineup, they were constructed to beat particularly Golden State.
Yes, they've went out and told everyone that they've built their team. They boldly have challenged the Golden State Warriors, but I just don't think that their roster is as complete. Golden State has proven time and time again that they have a better overall team. They have multiple superstars. They have the experience. So I don't agree with Kobe Bryant. That's a blanket statement that's easy to say. I think that Houston can tweak their offense a little bit, and I also think they could upgrade their roster a little bit. That would probably help them win a championship if you put the right players around James Harden. Now that's a formula for a championship, just like any other superstar. But it's not my favorite style of play to watch. I don't enjoy one guy dribbling out the clock and trying to beat his guy one-on-one every time. But it's a style that has been successful and actually has pushed Golden State better than any other team in the league has.
Okay, as a disclaimer first, I have to say that I'm a huge Kobe fan, so I'm pretty much biased to agree with what Kobe's saying. But I kind of see what he's trying to say. I think amongst all the other players, maybe he has one of the highest, or he has the right to actually say that because he's been through both sides. He's been that guy scoring 35 points per game, but not winning any championships. And then maybe that guy that had the right pieces around him, tried to let go a bit, tried to understand that he has to move, he has to get the ball to his teammates to win 5 championships. So I think he has the right to say that. But I'm going to have to stick with the fact that you can't consistently win with, like what Kobe's saying, with that type of play, with one guy just holding the ball, because basketball's a team sport. everyone's saying that it's just not. It doesn't put any logic to one man or one guy carrying the whole team to win a championship.
So clearly, it was not enough to have Harden, CP3, and Eric Gordon as the top 3 players on your team.
Not against Clay, Steph, KD, and James.
KD wasn't even there in game number 6.
Oh yeah, so even those 3.
Yeah, it's still, in my opinion, that big 3 at this point in their careers, with PJ Tucker being 34 and Chris Paul being a 34-year-old point guard. I don't think that that's enough to beat a prime Golden State Warriors team.
All right, and this Golden State Warriors team now moves on to the Western Conference Finals, and they'll face the Portland Trail Blazers. So you have the Splash Brothers on one side, and then you have Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum on the other side. I mean, how fascinating will this be?
I think it's going to be very fascinating. 2 of the top backcourts in the NBA. I know Portland, their guards, Lillard and McCollum, have been hearing a lot of credit go to the Splash Brothers. So they're very hungry, I'm sure, to prove that they're just as good and that they can compete against Golden State. So it should be a fun series. And Portland they have experience. They have playoff experience. They have the scars of losing before. So they know this is a great opportunity with the injuries that Golden State has. So I'm excited for that series.
Top 2 backcourts in the league, in my opinion. And that's going to be interesting to see because, like what Eric's saying, I think Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum really have a point to prove. I think that's been the biggest thing that's been, bringing them along this whole playoff run. I mean, ever since they started, I think even against the Nuggets, they were sort of like, maybe it's not them. So right now, I think they're just showing everybody, even Damian Lillard, this is his breakout season or breakout playoff season where he's proving to everybody that, all the comparisons before, this is my time, and they got some scrappy guys. They got some scrappy guys on that team. So it's going to be really interesting and fun to watch.
It's sort of like it makes sense for us to pit the 2 backcourts against each other. So I'm sure David Lillard wants to prove to people that he is just as good or even better than Steph Curry. CJ will like to do the same against Clay. But what do you do with KD? If KD completely gets back from his injury, I mean, who do you compare him to in that Portland lineup?
I think if KD plays, it's gonna be no question that they're gonna win the series. KD is just with that backcourt and with KD, I don't think it's possible for the Blazers to actually win. And they got Rodney Hood, I think, got hurt. But besides the fact, if KD plays, it's gonna be a done series for the Warriors, in my opinion.
Yeah, KD has always been their ace in the hole, right? They don't necessarily need him to win, but having him on their team makes them near impossible to beat. So he's a walking mismatch. Nobody in the league has a guy that can match up with him at 7 feet, the way he can handle the ball, the way he can make shots. So if he's able to play and he's 100%, it's going to be very difficult for Portland. But we don't know how healthy he'll be. We don't know when he'll play exactly. And Portland has to feel pretty good about getting this far.
Hey, just amongst the 3 of us, all right? How fun was it to watch the Warriors without KD? It's not a knock against KD, but how fun was it to watch the Warriors again, like pre-KD, like OG Splash Brothers Warriors?
Yeah, it was like the Warriors of old.
Yeah.
You see Steph finally coming out. It's like, I can play again, and then Clay, I can shoot again.
I'm a big fan of the pre-KD Warriors, the Splash Brothers. Steph Curry's probably my favorite player in the league, so it's nice to see MVP Steph Curry come out and show what he can do and show that he's one of the best players in the league as well.
Is this a preview of the post-KD Warriors? I mean, do you think KD's going to go?
Man, that's a totally different topic, but I'm honestly wanting him to leave. I want him to see him in another team.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if the Warriors can still win without him. I think they'll still be very good and a title contender without him, but it'd be nice to level the playing field across the league a little bit more.
Yeah, but you said not on the Knicks, right?
Not on the Knicks don't deserve them. They don't deserve them.
Thank you very much, Eric, Menk, and Jett Manuel for helping us out with our NBA discussion today.
Thanks for having us, Tito Meek.
Now, for more coverage of the NBA playoffs, go to sports.abs-cbn.com. This has been The Score. I'm Nico Halili. You can also watch The Score on the iOne app for free. And we leave you now with our feature on the recent Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas event. And we'll see you all again tomorrow.
The Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas formally unveiled the new logos of the Federation and the Gilas Pilipinas team as it announced its newly revamped structure. The newly designed Gilas Pilipinas logo, which features an eagle merging with a basketball, will be used for all the Philippine national basketball teams.
It's not only cosmetic. I think it's really a facelift also of the SBP, where we have restructured, created the pillars that were focus areas for the federation to strengthen and really create an impact as far as federation is concerned.
SBP President Panlilio also announced those who will head the 6 pillars of the federation. Coach Yang Giao heads the Gilas Pilipinas men's program, while Coach Patrick Aquino will call the shots for Gilas Pilipinas women's program.
We want to make sure that we have the leaders that can be accountable for those pillars and for those programs. And we'll measure it. We want to make ssure we are successful.
Former Gilas coach Tab Baldwin will serve as the program director of Gilas Pilipinas Youth. Meanwhile, PBA legend Ronnie Magsanok will develop the Philippine 3-on-3 program.
Coach Ronnie and Coach Pat said they are doing their own preparation for it, and we're getting ready for that. We want to be competitive. And to everybody there, hopefully you continue supporting all these teams. Kung pwede na kayo pumunta sa mga tournaments, please do so.